And if you like looking at engines, then watch this space. We discuss the growth and evolution at Kail Co Ltd, and Colin chats to Rolls-Royce at the Kail SGS event. And last but by no means least, an impressive cycle time challenge at Wilbar on a Hurco VMX32 SRTi 5th axis machine. Right. We got it there. All coming up in today's impressive Swarf and Chips. Colin and Gio, it's strange that Paul's not here.
In training.
What training for what?
Well, after the last football match, he was rubbish, so he's got a lot of training to do.
Oh gosh.
We're taking on Seco in the new year.
Yeah. Are
so
we?
It's a bit of big game.
We?
I'm playing this time.
You're going to play?
I might do, I'm not sure. We'll see.
I'm in goal, so
So you guys have been on your travels.
We have.
It's been
Fun times.
Yeah, good time. We'll find out more about that in the show. But if anyone who's watching, Colin, you heads up another area of the business. What's that called?
MTD Network. It's about marketing, well, not marketing, I had to use the word marketing, promoting engineers. They love getting their heads in the machine, making components. They never spend enough time getting their name out to market. That's what we do. So
are you the link between the work and the engineer?
Yep, absolutely. But just doing videos for them, getting their name out to market, showcasing what they do.
And we've got a few of your customers already in this video too.
Absolutely. That's why it works really well together.
We've visited some fantastic companies like this in the last few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
Travelled the whole of the country practically.
It's been traumatic, Gio.
It has been very
It's been traumatic. Right. Okay then, let's begin. At BCW, oh my goodness. Now, if you've ever want to see a company grow, this video is definitely one to watch.
MTDCNC have travelled to BCW Manufacturing Group. Now, Brent, we visited you approximately 6 months ago, and you told us then that your target was to hit 50 million within 5 years. How are you getting on with that?
I think when you was last here, I did, and I was talking about what do we do next. We're 2 years in on that 5-year journey. We're going to beat it, and we're going to beat it within the 5 years. In fact, next year, or in the next 18 months, we will surpass the 50 million. We'll probably head towards 70 million plus within that timescale. So within 5 years, we'll be greater than 70 million, heading towards 100 million.
That's just phenomenal growth. And we're in the latest investment, your latest facility here at BCW. Now, what's occurring here? And can you tell me a bit about the machinery and the automation you've got behind you?
Sure. Well, I think what we've gone and done is we've gone and won business to a larger scale, smaller mix, higher volume, hence the automation, the robots that you see behind us here. We've got an 8-machine cell fed by robots into an assembly cell, again, met by robots, because what we're trying to deliver is perfect quality every single time. So the investment isn't all about putting holes in components, it's about quality every single time that you deliver a product. And that's why we're winning business with our client base, because we do aim for right first time every time.
So is the secret to your success continuous investment? Is that the secret in new technology?
It's fair to say that when you've got a company that's growing so rapidly, if you stop, you'll stagnate. And we certainly aren't like that. You've seen it as you walk around our business. We believe in continuous investment. We believe that that's what our client base wants. We believe in terms of going down and up the food chain in terms of value propositions to our client, which in essence is winning us business all the time.
Now, diversifying into other work is another big theme that we've mentioned. Can you just elaborate on that, please?
So other work that we've been working into, obviously aerospace, we're into in quite a large way. We're winning more and more contracts, got large machining capacity that we've obviously got out there into the marketplace that we can actually absorb and fill. We're also moving into the mining sector, oil and gas sector, nuclear sector. We need to balance our portfolio. I think that's something we mentioned before, which again is another reason for the investment. There's areas of our business that need more investment than others, but at the same time we're looking at process and process capabilities and the service offering. So it might be more surface treatments that we're adding to our business. We've got sulfuric anodizing, we talk about passivating and paint lines, we're looking at tartaric anodizing for the aerospace sector as well, but we want a total business solution to our client base.
Now, when this new facility is finished, can we come back and have a full interview with you again, please, Brent?
I would love you to come back. I've got so much more that we've got going on in here. So many more machines coming in, so many more different process lines, looking at the value propositions of sub-assembly type work as well, going up the value chain. I think the next time you come back, you'll see a totally different business again.
Honestly, wow. 50 million and then going up to, what's the time scale, Gio?
Right, so I think it's another 2 years now. They're looking to achieve 70 million in growth. I mean, this is just phenomenal growth. I've never seen growth like this before in the UK, and I think that he really emphasises the quality, and that's a massive part of their business, and they're achieving diversifying, but they're achieving the quality through investing in the latest technology, by automating, by using and embracing that latest technology. And this, in my opinion, is what is getting them to where they are and where they want to be.
This is massive.
This is huge.
This is proving the point. This is proving the point, what we've been talking about all along.
But okay, not everyone can do this. And then in turn, my initial thought is, well, the more they do that, it's like that exponential. Is that then they can just take on, they can get the best price points, they'll get all the work.
They will, but they get work into the UK from overseas. Work we may have lost previously. These guys are winning work into a lot of
But we're not going to lose it as well to overseas. We keep it in the
Absolutely,
UK because we can be competitive, but we still produce in the quality parts that the British market demands. Not, you know, I mean, we pride ourselves on quality.
There's a big shot of an empty warehouse.
Yes.
That's actually, there's an anodising thing we saw in the video. The next bit, the big warehouse, is their next stage. Huge automated passivation system going in. So
and that's really impressive in itself. And I think you've done a video on that, haven't you, Colin? It's
absolutely.
You can see on the network channel.
There you go, on the network. Little duet, it's like Ant and Deco. Right, okay, don't forget the
more
Hurco.
like Holly and Deco, isn't it? Anyway, moving on.
Awkward. Holly and Deco. Right, don't forget the Hurco Cycle Time Challenge coming up later in the show, where you can enter and win your very own Swarf and Chips goodie bag. Yay. We meet the 100th Swarf winner. So next up, Colin, you head over to Millington Race Engines.
Brilliant. Guys, as you know, I like my machine shop walkthroughs. Today, I've dropped to deepest, darkest Shropshire, Millington Race Engines. Now, the journey here was a bit tricky. M6 as usual, absolutely chockers, but I've got the right vehicle to get me here on time. So, Millington Race Engines, synonymous with motorsport. So anybody who knows hill climbing, rallying, race engines will know the name. It's a great example of what engineers do. Basically, someone said to him, you can't machine it like that. And he said, well, you know what? I can machine it like that, and I'm going to. So his first purchase was a Cincinnati. Now that is still going strong, and at the time it's state of the art. We've just got a picture of a cylinder block, an engine block there, and forgive me if I get the names wrong here, Ian will have a meltdown from behind because he's a motorsport, a rev head as we say. Fuel rails, the cylinder block there, and this is what they're machining, which is a great example of investment as well, and their skills, because what they do, previously they did have some great machines, but they've just invested in this DMG MORI DMU 75, 5 axis simultaneous. Now let me get this right, 60 tools, 20,000 RPM. The reason they bought it though is these, well obviously the cylinder heads are big blocks of metal. This gives them total flexibility and they can machine it previously in 6 ops, now down to 2 ops, a lot faster. So, well, Julian working here on his Sprutcom software is absolutely over the moon with it. They've also got in there a Piranha Vice from Leader Chuck. Absolutely loves that as well because you get loads of clearance in that machine and they don't have to pre-stamp it. So absolutely love those. But moving on swiftly, you can see here, absolutely immaculate workshop. So here's some of the engines. Now this is in for a rebuild. I think Carver's been driving his Escort too hard, and some of the old ones and new ones. So it's just a great example of really ingenuity, UK manufacturing. Wanted to share it with you. Now, journey here was a bit slow as you saw. I've got a faster way home. So I'm thinking the journey home might be a bit quicker. So chopped away.
Nice ride, Colin.
Lindsay, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
But I did think this video would tank. Come on, guys. Oh, sorry.
Come on.
See what I had to put up with.
He turned up, he's got the tank out the front, he's got a jump jet in one of his warehouses, a whole collection of old tractors and things like that. Phenomenal. But the machine shop itself, absolutely amazing what they're doing with these engine, or the whole engine, and really they're known around the world and they're looking to build it further. That's why they've got the DMG MORI DMU 75, get that right. But Julian, he wasn't a man of many words, no disrespect Julian, but he absolutely loved it. The power, the speed, the flexibility, the controls, and turning that engine block 6 down to 2 ops improved accuracy, speed, everything.
And what kind of time savings is he getting on that, Colin?
It
It must be phenomenal.
It is.
Isn't it?
He didn't give me specific times. I think he wanted to keep that in the back pocket. But
Right, okay.
absolutely love the machine.
And I noticed it's a monoblock, so one piece casting, so really rigid, solid machine for some of the larger components.
And that ties in nicely with the work holding, the Piranha vice. He absolutely loved that. Doing a different job, but 3mm jaws, don't need to pre-stamp. It just
got a lot of spindle clearance there.
absolutely,
as well,
he said he can
see.
get undercuts and things like that. And he just the whole thing absolutely loves. And
You look quite amazed.
it was brilliant. It was a fun day. The only downside was Carver's a bit of a rev head. We were stuck there about 4 hours talking about rally.
Oh yeah, Carver is the cameraman,
Ian,
by the
yes.
way. So Ian Carver.
So I learned a lot about cars.
Oh. Okay, don't forget to like, a comment and subscribe throughout the show. Still to come, we speak to Rolls-Royce, but first let's go to Kail Co to find out the reasons behind their success.
MTDCNC have travelled to Sunderland to Kail Co, and I'm back with Steve Patterson. Now Steve, it's only been 6 months, about 6 months since I visited you last, but there's been significant changes since then.
Yeah, we've seen a dramatic increase in workload. Back from the days last 6 months ago when you first came, things were a little bit, we were bumping along the bottom, oil and gas still hadn't recovered, and now we're finding that oil and gas is probably starting to show at our end, and it's probably the last 2 to 3 months left us in a bit of a sticky situation because we have a lot of other business for the defence market and other stuff, and now we're finding that we're really struggling to cope with the demand, especially since oil and gas has started to come back.
So what do you think's the reason behind the sudden increase in the oil and gas work?
I don't know, it just seems to have turned on a bit like a tap, and I think it has got going. I've read a lot of stories that a lot of rigs are out working again, so I think, plus there's a lot of people saying there's not a lot of maintenance gone on over since it declined 2 to 3 years ago, and now I'm finding that, everybody's wanting product at the moment.
So you're at full capacity?
Absolutely, yeah. If I'm being honest, right, we're looking to fill January, February capacity at the minute, which is not good for some of our customers,
Now, what are you going to do about this new demand for oil and gas work?
Well, we work overtime. We've got to get smarter at making things. We're looking at different tooling. We basically have to get through work a lot quicker.
I think it's a good testimonial for you that people are throwing all this work at you. Now, you've been going, the company's been going for 50 years now, I believe. Now, what are the secrets behind your success?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly, but because I'm not the previous owner started the company. Sadly, he's no longer with us. But I've owned the business now for 20 years, and the business has just kept evolving. And we've literally had tremendous support from people like Mills CNC, Xiaomi, people, Matsura. We tend to buy from the same type of people because we're buying for reliability, and they really look after us.
So is it fair to say that the secret to your success is continuous investment?
Yeah, there was a period, maybe only about 18 months, when things were really difficult with oil and gas, and it was right at the start of when we started this factory. We never spent a penny, and we literally invested £2 million in buying this site and filling it with the technology that you see today. So we had to be careful, tightened our belts, and then basically about 12 months ago we started to reinvest again, and that's where we are now.
Now, how are you finding the people to run the machines? Obviously, the work's coming back to the Northern Territory, so what about the workforce?
Well, we have a very settled workforce. We try and give everybody a really good environment to work in. We try and pay them as much as we possibly can, and we tend to have a steady supply of people who want to work here and want to stay here. We are finding it extremely difficult to recruit new people. We tend to do a lot through the apprenticeship program because we want to train them into what we are, not what other people have trained,
And where can you see Kail Co in the next 5 years? Where do you think the future's going to be?
Well, even after I've gone, I'd like to think it could continue. I look at myself as probably just the watchman at the minute. Owned the company for 20 years, but I'd like to see it continue on. Hopefully in my family's name. I've got a younger son and my daughter's an accountant, so I'm hoping they've got the desire to continue.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
Lindsay, I've got to say that Steve is one of the nicest gentlemen that I've ever had the pleasure to meet in the industry. He's just amazing. And I was talking to Steve and he told me off camera that 18 months ago the company was really struggling, and he was advised to let people go, and he said, no, I'm going to keep everybody on. And this was when the oil and gas had just disappeared. He diversified into other work, and he's kept everyone going. He's not only invested in the latest equipment and some amazing machines, but he's invested into people, and he's a one-off. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's a gem.
Absolutely
thing is,
brilliant.
he said there,
He's doing so well.
18 months. It was 18 months ago. Not that he was going to close the doors, but he was really, really struggling. Invested, believed in his people, and now he's too busy.
He can't. He's diversified into so much other work that all the oil and gas has turned back on. There's other oil and gas companies that closed down at the time, and there was machines that were just collecting mothballs. So he's kind of took on more work. The taps come back on for oil and gas, and he hasn't got enough capacity to kind of
But
deal with it.
he's got good staff that will look after him as
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
and I think that's a good thing.
I walked around that shop, and everyone was just so happy.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was
Going
absolutely
around,
brilliant.
just puts a smile on your face. You get that vibe, and that's where it is.
So you spoke to Rolls-Royce, didn't you, Colin?
Absolutely, yes. We're at the Kia Sierra SGS Lunch and Learn event, easy for me to say, at the AMRC in Sheffield, airframe machining. I practice that. Lindsay, hot off the press, it's an exclusive. Swarf and Chips is not just about you. Richard, tell me what you told me earlier.
I like Swarf and Chips simply because it gives us an insight into UK manufacturing and new technologies that's available to us.
Okay, so watching the show, you'll see machines that you probably weren't aware of in the UK.
Absolutely. We recently looked at Sheffield Forge Masters and Newburgh Engineering as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, some great videos. I mean, the Forge Masters one, Joe, it made Joe look small, which has got to be a flipping big machine.
Yes, a huge machine, yes.
Any thoughts on Lindsay?
No comment.
That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much, Richard. Back to the studio. Lindsay, are we sorry? Not really.
Oh my goodness, you are mean.
He said it. I didn't say a word.
Yeah, but you're mean. You know what you want from an interview, and you are just mean.
Get over it, princess. No, it's a great little testimonial from Richard. It really was. At the event, loved it there. Really, really engaging. But the fact he's watching us, seeing different machines that they weren't aware about. Absolutely fantastic.
Colin, talk us through the network a little bit more, because there's customers that we're talking about today, cycle time challenges and everything, and they are customers of yours from the network. You said about the companies, struggling 18 months ago and where they are today. Has the network helped?
It certainly has. I can't take all the credibility for that from Kail Co, but they're a customer, been out and done videos for them, just actively promoting them, getting their name out to the world. Because engineers, they want to have their heads in the machine, making components and designing things and getting that work out the door. They don't have time to do I don't want to call it marketing, just promote themselves. They make some great components. We want to showcase it, and that's what we do for them.
Definitely. Right, not long until we meet the winner of all of the prizes that we go away for our Swarf 100 show. But first, Colin, let's view your great cycle time challenge at Wilbar.
Guys, girls in the studio, well actually I don't know who's in the studio because I can't see you, but cycle time challenge. I know you love my cycle time challenges, so this one we popped in to see Gareth and our friends at Wilbar Components in Cannock in Staffordshire. Now, they are huge fans of Hurco machines. They've got milling, turning. In terms of milling, 3-axis, 4+1, but they've gone the next step. They've gone the whole hog. They've gone the full 5-axis with this VMX32 SRTi. Let me just check I've got that right. I did indeed. So full 5-axis simultaneous, huge envelope in there, so they can still do 3-axis work on it, but this gives them loads more flexibility. And I'm going to look at this component here today. Now, if Ian's on his game, as he usually is, you should be able to see that those, I'm going to call them islands, are actually offset by 2 degrees in the vertical, and also at that angle there as well. Now, doing that on a 3 or 4-axis machine would be an absolute nightmare in terms of operations, changeovers. Probably take hour and a half to set up. But on this new 5-axis machine, also with the help of Hypermill, I want to know how long this has been taken to machine. So guys, have a guess, let us know, and then we look forward to giving out some prizes.
I love a good cycle time challenge.
I love it. Can I just reiterate, we saw that last week. Gareth couldn't wipe, well, you don't want to wipe the smile off it. He was so happy about the machine, the software, and he was really a bit reticent about the Hypermill software. Not that it was a bad product. He's like, can it really do this? And it did, and it was fantastic.
It's having that confidence.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a little caveat in here, because he said previously, I think it was 6 ops and changing around all the fixtures and things like that, was about an hour and a half just in man time. Getting that down now to on the 5-axis machine, he reduced the cycle time. Have a guess at that. But while we were there, his guy was using the Hypermill. They've got it down even lower. So
great cycle
there
time.
you go.
No pressure. So I think we should guess the very lowest as they told us when we were walking out the door.
Yeah, and please do get involved and get your guesses in for the Cycle Time Challenges, because we give away a Swarf and Chips goodie bag every single week, and we get lots of people saying how happy they are with the bags. So there's lots of goodies in there, so please put your guesses in the box below. So talking of prizes, we had our Swarf 100 event happen, and here we met our winner.
Guys, after the success of the 100th Swarf and Chip Show, we had loads of fun. Not sure about the bugs. Gio, do you enjoy eating them?
They were awful.
Right, we've got that on camera. Gio's just lied, because I know for a fact you and Joe didn't eat them.
No comments. No comments.
They were absolutely disgusting. Anyway, we had a great time, and we've driven for miles. It's absolutely freezing. It must be, oh my God. Anyway, we've come to present Stuart from Jaw Engineering with his prizes.
Is it JAW Engineering?
Jaw Engineering, I'm not arguing, Jaw.
Well, we'll get that confirmed.
Okay. He says potato.
I say tomato.
Whatever, right? Let's go. And we've got a special guest appearance as well, so let's go and give Stuart the prizes.
So, let's go in and find Stuart. I think I can see him on the machine. Good morning, Stuart.
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Congratulations on winning the prizes from the show.
Thank you very much.
So here's your goodie bag.
Brilliant. Thank
Now, I just want to clarify one thing before we start. Is it Jaw Engineering or JAW Engineering?
you. Well, most people know us as Jaw Engineering.
Oh, that's bad news. I hate to say this, but Colin was actually right. And talking about Colin, I barely recognise him, but so here's your main prize, Stuart. Now, this is an MTD ready TV, so you can watch another 100 Swarf and Chip shows. And we've got lots of prizes in there, from Citizen, from Star, from Kyocera, PSL Data Track. There's lots and lots and lots of prizes in there for you to enjoy.
Oh, I think he was more shocked than anything, wasn't he? How embarrassing.
Embarrassing. That's dreadful. He could barely believe it.
Yeah.
But he was a bit, I think, underwhelmed. I don't know. He was overwhelmed because it was about the 10th take because Gio kept knocking up.
Oh,
I did,
goodness.
Lindsay.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that whole
Yeah,
carrying
but
that
did you not
TV
do it because your jokes are unbearable?
His jokes were unbearable.
Well, I'd been in the woods for a little while. That's why. But trying to carry that TV with those flipping bear claws, he's got about that TV's now in about 10 pieces.
Oh my
dropping
goodness.
it. Sorry, Stuart.
Oh no! You know what were you wearing underneath all of those clothes? Were you bearing
Nothing.
I don't know how many bear jokes we can get into the video. You know, but it's so good, and we've been part of something. And you know, when the customers are watching, it really shows. You know, they get involved, and they can win things. You can win things from MTD, so we're really grateful.
We didn't actually hand
Big
over the
fan,
prizes. I
big
got some,
fan of MTD.
some in the back of the van still. I'm joking.
No, you
I'm
did
joking,
not.
Stuart.
No, you did not. Anyway, that's the end of the show. So thank you very much, gents. Maybe we'll have Paul back next week. I don't know.
Still training.
Still training.
You need to do loads of training, trust me.
Football training. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you want to watch any previous episodes. Click on the links on the screen, and as we always say, keep those spindles turning.